Big time recruiting scoop, intel, news, etc., breaking all over the place. I want to start in Miami because it was about 2 weeks ago. I took some flack for suggesting that Miami recruiting was going to be hot. It was going to be a good cycle for them, and I wasn't worried they were ranked in the 30s. And, well, now here they are. They've got 2 Elite 11 quarterbacks committed to them. Jaden Rashada, the most recent commit since the last time you and I spoke, but also Emory Williams committed to them. I'm going to talk about Williams a little bit later on. I spent some time with him this week. But they've added a handful of offensive commitments after Jaden Rashada. A 4-star tight end, 4-star wide receiver, a 4-star athlete. But their biggest fish are still out there, and I think they're going to end up on the right side of this for a number of guys. They've got the number 14 class in the country right now. They've got the number 2 class in the ACC. Again, I don't want to get caught up on class rankings at the moment unless it's, if you got the number 1 rated class this deep, then Notre Dame, for example, probably going to be okay. They're probably going to be rated top 10. But Miami is surging right now. They are one of 15 classes with an average player rating of 90 or above. That's one of the critical factors. Anytime I talk to Wiltfong, he always wants to say, forget about the class rating this time of year. Show me the average player rating. That's what matters. We're going to talk about Bama in a second. They're nowhere to be found in the top 15. They're right there at number 1 when it comes to average player rating. Miami is making a move the same way that anyone with half a brain about the way that Mario Cristobal goes about things knew they were going to do. It's just getting started there. So I said when he got there, when Cristobal got there, I thought they were going to contend safely for a top 10 class. I went as far as to say top 5 class. Things have to shake out just right for you there. Let's keep an eye on Miami. Number 14 right now, I still think they're going to push in the end to be in that territory. So bookmark Miami. Texas. You know what? Let's fan ourselves for a second in honor of Texas. Remember Arch Manning on June 23rd, he committed, and everybody in the country had an opinion on that. And then you had an opinion on whether Texas was back, and then you had an opinion on whether Arch Manning was overhyped. I laughed in this microphone when anyone claimed that Arch Manning was overhyped, and here's why. Paper popping time. I'm going to read a list of names here. You tell me what they have in common. 5-star wide receiver Jahante Cook. 5-star safety Derek Williams. 4-star offensive lineman Jaden Chapman. 4-star wide receiver Jonah Wilson. 4-star linebacker Leona Leifau. I probably wrote the name wrong. No, I didn't. 4-star defensive lineman Sadir Mitchell, just in the past hour or so. What do those names have in common? I'm going to tell you, friends. They've all committed since Arch Manning's commitment. So, let's just say, for the sake of argument, Arch Manning never plays down in Austin, Texas. Let's just say he's a total bust, which I don't think he will be. Even if he was. You know why he's not overhyped? Because you got all those names that committed right afterwards for a very specific reason. They want to play with him. That's the kind of domino he always was going to be. If he would have committed to Georgia, the same thing would be happening at Georgia. That's why such a big deal was made. I know the casuals made a big deal because his last name's Manning. I made a big deal about it because I knew Texas recruiting was about to take off like a rocket ship. And it is. They finished top 5 last cycle, really good line of scrimmage recruiting. They are probably going to flirt with or finish inside the top 5 again this cycle. They got the number 1 quarterback in the class to go along with it. And they're currently sitting, I think, at number 3. And that's before the last commitment. They're still number 3 there. Still a ways to go for Texas, too. So exciting times in Austin. As we always say, a top recruiting ranking is not a guarantee of anything, but being outside of that conversation is a guarantee of what you won't achieve in all likelihood. What about LSU? I don't see LSU in the top 10 there. I don't see LSU in the top 20. I don't see LSU in the top 30. So is it time to panic? Probably not. They're going to probably have a flurry of commitments this week. I'd keep an eye out tomorrow. But I think several commitments are coming for LSU. They just picked one up today. Joshua Mickens, a 4-star edge guy. I think he's out of Indiana, I want to say. LSU is going to be okay. It's probably not going to be a top 5 class. They're going to be okay here. They're ranked 37th right now. A vast majority of their moves are still to be made. Now, if you look at Brian Kelly and you look at his first few months on the job at LSU, I think there are similarities between what Billy Napier is dealing with in Gainesville at Florida. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, to just step into a lane where everyone's going 110 miles an hour. That's even if you got a fast car. It just takes some adjustment. It's like drinking water out of a fire hose. That's what Brian Kelly's dealing with right now. That's what his staff is dealing with right now. Now, the good news is they do have a fast car there. So they'll eventually get up to speed, and LSU will be okay. Cooper Pategna, a.k.a. Cooper Patania, according to some, was talking about this earlier today about LSU taking a more national approach to recruiting. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that's exactly what Brian Kelly wants to do. Ultimately, the LSU roster will be built with Louisiana prospects, but I think there will be a healthy, here's a word for July, smattering of national talent there. And there probably will have to be a little bit more this cycle than there will in coming cycles. But I think this week, see me next Sunday, and let's have a different conversation about LSU recruiting. They will not be ranked in the mid-30s come this time next week. The Clemson Tigers have the number 4 class in America right now. Did you expect this? Did you expect them to be at a 91.84 average player rating? Again, one of only 15 programs at this point above 90 on the average player rating scale. Or did you expect Clemson recruiting to fall off after they lost critical pieces of their staff? Well, here they sit. Steady stream of commitments since the beginning of June. They've had 13 or 14 of them just in June and July. They're one of 4 classes with double-digit 4-star or higher rated players. That's pretty elite company. I like their position with guys like Peter Woods. Peter Woods is a 5-star kid out of Alabaster, which is just south of Birmingham. Good signs here. I don't know what else to say. Very good signs. And I think there was a lot of doubt out there. It's not that it's been rectified because of what a recruiting class looks like in June or July, but it is an early indication and a good early indication that the post-Tony Elliott, post-Brent Venables era there is not going to see Clemson football just plummet off a cliff and crater, several hundred feet below. They may struggle, they may not. This is an early indication. So let's not bet the entire house because of it. Let's not ignore it, though. Clemson's sitting at number 4 right now. And the last team, just nowhere to be found, Alabama. Alabama's ranked 23rd right now. What are they ranked in the metric that a lot of folks value the most? Average player rating? They're ranked number 1. Their average player rating right now is 94.71. That's getting it done. That's your average player being a very high-rated 4-star. I texted someone who would know today, and I asked them, if I were to just pick one team out there that's about to get red hot in recruiting, who's it going to be? They said, Bama. If you look at the list of kids that will be choosing from Alabama, it would be a lot quicker and save you a lot of time to find the 4- and 5-star kids, especially the 5-star kids that don't have Bama on that list. And I'm not just talking about a garden variety list of finalists. I mean ones where they're a serious player. Bama's going to be right up there again, top 5 class. It's that time of year where I make my safest bold prediction all year, and that is Alabama's ranked 23rd right now. Alabama will not finish recruiting ranked 23rd. And that humor is lost on some people. So the transcripts of the show go out, and some people criticize me for that. But Notre Dame, Notre Dame's still number 1. Talked about them a second ago. They've added a 4-star wide receiver and a 4-star corner in the past week. This is a really good class, and this is not early. Now, it's not exactly 1 week until early signing day, but a majority of this class is locked up. I don't expect them to finish number 1. I do expect them to finish very high, though. I expect this to probably be the best class you've seen Notre Dame sign in a decade on paper. I understand how this works on paper. South Carolina getting some work done. They added a 4-star linebacker named Grayson Howard out of Jacksonville. And we've got him rated 4 stars. I think that staff at South Carolina probably even views 4 stars as being a little bit underrated for Grayson Howard. A lot of the neck-up stuff, a lot of the off-the-field intangibles that end up impacting on-field play. Grayson Howard's going to be a really, really good one for South Carolina. I think that staff, reading the Big Spur earlier today, I think they were pretty ecstatic to get him. So my vow to you, we will not go this long talking about recruiting or without talking about recruiting again, but I did want to get you updated there.